This is a meeting of the Pioneer Valley Regional School District School Committee. It is Thursday, February 10th, 2022. It is currently 7:12 p.m. We appreciate your patience while we worked out some technical issues. We are meeting here in the PVRS library as well as on Google Meet. Looks like I have a copy of the agenda instead of the posting, which is what I typically read off of, but that's okay. So we are attending here in person and via Google Meet according to the governor's March 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. So I will go ahead and do a roll call vote to call us to order. And we can start with Melissa.
Melissa Gary, Bernardston.
Jeannie Milton, present.
Jim Bell here.
Stephanie Winslow, Northfield.
Karen O'Neill, Leiden, here.
Alan Genovese Warwick, present.
Raina Dastu, Northfield, here.
Okay, David.
David Young, here.
Michelle.
Michelle Jeruso, Leiden, here.
Nathan.
Nathan Schwartz, Warwick, here.
Robin. Okay. Robin will keep trying, I think. And Julie Burke, Northfield, here. So our meeting is called to order at 7:14 p.m. So first we have citizens' comments. I was made aware that Claire would be speaking this evening. So Claire, you can come on up to the table here. And just state your name, both of your names, if you're both speaking, and your town.
I'm Claire Brennan. I live in Northfield.
I'm Kim Godfrey. I live in Northfield.
Good evening. We are here as Northfield residents and presidents of the PVASP and the PVREA, representing our members who work here at Pioneer. 2 weeks ago, our principal informed us that the interim superintendent of 4 months was not renewing his contract. We were utterly shocked at first, and now we're angry. We feel a sense of deja vu. Pioneer, under our current administration, has made great strides to rebound from a disastrous administration that created extensive student and faculty loss. In 3 years, our student population has increased, and our programs of studies is offering new and exciting opportunities for students. Our belief that PVRS can and will be the school it once was 7 years ago is strong. The reason is simple. We have an administrator who believes in us, hears us, supports us, and creates an exciting working and educational environment for us and our students. Our principal navigated us through 3 very difficult years of COVID, with remote learning, a hybrid schedule, a classroom under tents. He worked with us, parents, students, and community members to plan a special graduation at a local outdoor movie theater. Over the past 3 years, he has listened to us, encouraged us, supported us, respected us, and treated us as a unit working together and moving us in the right direction to become the school we once knew. The interim superintendent said in her interview that she wanted to steer the ship in the right direction and let us heal. Her decision and your support of this decision is not letting us heal. It is tearing open a wound. We are shell-shocked, and we need to see that people here, besides us, really want to see Pioneer succeed. So here we are again, fighting for you to do the right thing for our schools. Reverse this decision and set an example to show your commitment to this school and our students. In addition, we ask that you be thoughtful about the choices being made about leadership and how they will affect the future of this district. Thank you for your time.
And I have a petition that both unions have signed, and I'll give to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that will be speaking for citizens' comments? Okay, thank you. All right, so next we'll move on to the minutes. Anne has kindly given us a whole bunch of them. She just wrote in the chat that the minutes from October 14th were previously approved as written in the January meeting. So unless anyone sees any kind of concerns on their review, we can skip over that part. All right, so we have the October 20th, 2021 minutes. So just raise your hand here in person or online.
My suggestion, oh, sorry. This is Ann. My suggestion is to save that one till last because that was a meeting I could not attend and it was
Oh, okay.
not
So we'll save.
televised.
Okay, we'll save October 20th to the end. So
October 20th?
October
18th?
20th. So now let's look at November 18th. Okay, Patricia?
Minutes from November 18th on page 2, the section numbered 3. There's a typo, blue ribbon ceremony. Please delete the L. And then fifth line from the bottom, it says Kinsella reported on the 5th grade poetry contest. I believe that was Mrs. Damaris who reported on the 5th grade poetry contest and passed around poems.
Okay.
Okay.
I have,
All right, Karen?
on the same page, the very top line, Kathy Malsh's name is misspelled. It has, page 2,
Page 2, okay.
very top. It has
Got
a
it.
C in it.
Is it MALSCH?
Yep,
Okay.
yes. And under number 2, in the second line, there's a missing word, I think. I think just past the comma, it should be, she thanked employees for picking up the slack. Okay. And on page 3, number 5, first line, Tracy Novick. Novick has a C before the K.
Just to be clear, I will correct that in all future minutes where that exists.
Okay, I won't.
Thank you.
I won't mention it again then. And on page 4, I think there's a missing word again under number 2. In the 5th line, it should be the committee voted to accept the proposal as written.
Yeah.
Okay?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of November 18th with the correction.
Hey, is there a second?
I'll second, Raina.
Any further discussion? Now, I think we've talked about this once before. Do we have to vote on every month,
On every set of
every
minutes?
set of minutes?
I think
So
so.
we
But you don't-
can't do a,
You don't have to do it individually. What you can
That's
do
what I
is you
thought.
can have
The whole
that,
thing?
yeah, what you could do is at the end, if all of them go through, you
Yes.
could make a motion for all of them.
perfect.
So if you're willing to hold your motion in the second, wait till the
I
end.
just find it easier when there are corrections.
No, but
Do it.
we'll
I
we'll
know
have
what
to
you're
take
saying, Ellen.
6, like, roll call votes.
It was a roll call vote part, in between,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So So we'll hold on that motion and we'll add all of the minutes, Jeannie. Okay. November 29th.
In the call to order, Julie Burke needs an I in the first name.
All right, anything else? No? Okay. Next, we have December 9th.
On the first page, under the student report, on the fifth line, again, we have Kathy Malsh's name needs a C in it.
I'll correct all future ones of her name,
Okay.
thank you.
Uh-huh. And then on page 3, on the fifth line below, I think there's a part missing. Right at the end of that line, Burke noted that something currently have 3 members.
I think I was saying, she's in the first paragraph at the top.
I'm sorry, which page and which
Page
section?
3, first
Page 3.
paragraph, above number 6.
Oh, okay, yep.
Ms. Burke noted that currently have 3 members. Okay, so I think I was talking about,
Oh, that all committees currently have 3 members.
yes,
I think,
the subcommittees, yep.
Okay,
thank you.
and that's all I have.
And then there was a question, is Claire still here? Okay.
Yeah.
There was a question if Claire was present.
Yeah, I'm sorry, on some of these, it's really hard to tell, because other people aren't in the roll call. So
Right.
for me, when I'm watching them, and I because I've been recovering from a concussion, I've been watching in 15-minute increments. It's been a very lengthy process.
Oh, yes. All right, we can still, we may have to hold off on that one then. I don't remember. I keep a roll call of just the
Yeah,
school committee
yeah.
members.
All right,
Okay.
so I will take her out, and if she wants to be added back in, I'll shoot her a note.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, thank you.
So do we approve it then if we're going to remove her name from the minutes? It sounds like we agreed that her name could be removed, and that would, at this point, not have any further action.
Why wouldn't we? Yes, so we could say that her name will be removed, and then if Anne checks with Claire and she states she was here, we could have the minutes reapproved at the next meeting. Would that work?
I can't speak for Claire, but I was here at that meeting.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I'll put you in.
Perfect. Thank you, Renee. All right. December 16th.
Maybe I'd like to address the highlighted portion on the front. I think we need a quorum of the number of members, whether they are here or not, and that would clear that up. Because we only had, we would need 6 votes, 6 out of 11, to pass something, if that is the case. I think it has to be all members, not just the ones who are present.
Okay, I wasn't sure about that. I thought it was a majority of the members present, but
No,
that would,
yep, the members at home, given the governor's March 2020 order, they
no,
can.
this was the total vote.
Yeah, that was
And
the total.
I thought it was a simple majority of everybody at the meeting, not the total number of the committee. So I was just confused about that one.
I think that
And
she's
I
correct.
wanted to call your attention to it because I didn't understand why it failed.
Yeah, I think that's correct. That if it's something like passing a budget, then it's, the majority of all members that make up the committee, so it'd be 12. But if you're having a meeting and you have a simple majority, you still can take a vote and have affirmative. So are you saying, how many were here? Were there 11 here?
No,
No.
No,
There
there were
was
9
9.
people
9
there.
people.
And we had 5 in favor, so I thought that that was the
So that would
majority.
pass.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why I wanted to call that to your attention, that I think that it should have passed.
so Alan, just for clarification, I'm sorry, I at least was present or was a member of an audience where this came up before. You said for budget, is that the only thing for which?
I don't know.
How do
So-
we know?
So in the regional agreement, it's clear. So we know by reading the regional agreement that that pertains to a vote on a budget.
Uh-huh.
If we're working on Robert's rules, then that's how we operate, and that would be, a majority of those
Let me
present.
see.
You need a quorum, so you needed, 7 members to conduct business. And it sounds like you had,
We had
you had
9.
2 abstentions, 2 there, so you had 5, 6, 9.
Mhm.
So, unless I'm missing something, if we're operating under Robert's rules,
Okay. Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, and I do believe that for certain types of votes, like rescinding a motion or, do you know what I
Correct.
mean? Like, I think those require 2/3 of the committee members, not 2/3 of those present. But for
Correct.
this one, I thought it should have passed, and I just wanted to call that to your attention.
Okay, so what do we do in that case? I
David,
mean-
maybe you could, you're kind of knowledgeable about protocols, or Michelle.
Well, I would think that the chair would just rule that the motion was passed,
Yeah.
and you don't change the old minutes. You reflect the matter in the new minutes. You might put a parenthetical remark to point somebody to the fact. I mean, the minutes are what they are, and if the chair then declared it, I think that's what the minutes need to show. So right now, our new minutes would show we've reinterpreted the vote.
well, we would
Just-
be making an amendment to say, we're amending it to say it passed instead of failed. That's all. It's an amendment to these
Well,
minutes.
then we would have to adhere to it.
Well, then I would request that we put this on the agenda for
Yeah.
further discussion.
Go ahead, Jeannie.
If it passed, why would we do further discussion?
Because as a member of the committee, I think it deserves more consideration.
And we have new members now.
We have 1 new member,
Yep.
but if a motion was passed, then it would have to be reintroduced or amended.
Mhm.
And at this point, I'm not willing to do that.
So all it takes is someone who voted in the affirmative to bring it forward, to ask for it to be
Revisited.
revisited, is a word for that. It escapes my mind.
So that everyone knows, this was number 4. I don't know if everyone at home has their notes in front of them, the minutes. So Jeannie had moved to set a 15-minute discussion limit per motion after it was seconded. Jim seconded the motion. Jeannie voted yes. Stephanie voted yes. Karen voted yes. Alan voted no. Raina voted yes. Michelle abstained. Jim voted yes. Nathan abstained, and I voted no. And then I erroneously, and I'm surprised, we all thought that it did not pass. And then Jeannie said that she would revisit it at a later date. So I guess where we stand is one of the yeses would either have to state
Reconsider. A motion to
Reconsider.
reconsider.
But
I think,
can I just say that that maybe should happen not during the approval of the minutes? Like maybe you could just pass on those minutes and that could be a subject of another discussion because this could make the minutes discussion last a really long time.
yeah,
And,
absolutely.
and I think that if it is going to be revisited, it would make more sense to just continue on with the minutes and just take the minutes of 1216 out of the motion.
Yeah, and my concern would be then that we didn't adhere to it since December 16th. You know, so we wouldn't.
Right.
Okay.
I get that. And I think that because I was out of commission for so long that the minutes are behind schedule and that maybe just continue with what you've been doing and then take it up at the next meeting.
Okay.
I don't know what the best solution is.
I
I just
disagree.
noticed it when I was typing them up.
Yeah, I disagree because this is what we did. So we noticed that it just said failed instead of passed, and so we should amend these minutes and approve them if there's, no others to say that the motion passed. And then, that's it. We're done these, we move on. And these get passed along with the others we're going to do. Then at another time, if someone, separate from all of this, just wanted to make a motion to rescind, that's a whole different,
But the issue is
Item.
if we're saying that this passed, then we would need to adhere to it for this meeting.
Yes.
Yes.
we would.
Yeah.
Right, so we'll do 15 minutes per topic.
No.
No,
it was
I-
15
Per
It was
motion.
15 minutes after a motion was seconded. So it's just new motions. Has nothing to do with, the minutes, whether we approve them or not.
I meant topics,
Oh,
motions.
Okay, but it didn't come across that way.
Can I ask for
Sorry.
clarification,
sorry.
Jeannie? Because I think I might misunderstand you.
Oh,
So-
hold on one
Hold
second
on.
though, Rena.
I don't want to prolong the discussion, but these minutes reflect what happened in the meeting.
Right,
We're debating a completely different topic right now. So we made an error, but that shouldn't change what happened in that meeting. It shouldn't
so
change
we'll
the
just,
record of what happened in that
for the
meeting.
purposes of for these minutes, we will
This
have
is-
Ann note that we now are noticing the error upon review and move on.
And then we need to address that error at some other future time, whether it's tonight or in another meeting. But the minutes have to reflect what happened in the meeting.
I think we would have to adhere though, in this meeting,
So,
if we're stating that that was an error.
so I agree that we amend them and we say that it passed, okay? So I agree with that, and
I-
we're going to move on.
I don't
However,
agree with that.
Well,
It
how
did
about
pass.
if I,
Well, let me just finish
That
this.
wasn't what was decided,
Okay.
that wasn't what was discussed in the meeting. The motion didn't pass in that meeting.
Even though it had a 5-2 vote,
It should have, that was the error. We do need to
the error was we
acknowledge
said
that we
it
made an error.
failed when it passed.
But it said in the meeting that we said in the meeting, and we all agreed that it failed.
Okay, so going back to that, just to be clear, Jeannie, could you clarify what you meant by this motion? Did you mean that we could have an item on the table, we could discuss it and so forth, there might be a second and we discuss it, but then the 15 minutes that you were talking about would apply to, at what point in time?
As soon as the motion is seconded.
Okay, so there could be a lot of discussion, and then there's a motion and second, and that's for the
Usually, it
15?
should be, the motion is made, then, if appropriate, it is seconded, and then there follows a discussion. 1, 2, 3 steps. That discussion following the seconding of the motion would be limited to 15 minutes.
David?
This reminds me of term limits. The real term limits would be that electorate doesn't return somebody. They say it's time to get rid of you. But we can't seem to do that, so we pass a law. I'm with Raina. This are the minutes of the meeting that happened. The chair declared this. This is like a bad call in a baseball game. The Yankees still beat the Red Sox even though that ball was high and inside.
All right,
We
I'm
move
going to
on.
make an
We
executive
fix it
decision.
later, and I want to know who's going to be timekeeper. I think this is just going to be cumbersome. We need to be mindful
Yeah,
of
so we're-
our use of time, but this is like term limits. It's
So
stupid.
we-
You can't fix the past.
So
now.
it's absolutely,
In the minutes.
yeah, we will discuss it at another meeting, but I agree with Raina as well. For the purposes of approving these minutes, this is what happened. So, although now we see that it was an error, we can approve these minutes as they're written because it is what happened at the meeting. Okay.
Okay, so do you want me to add a note that during the minutes, the meeting where they
No,
were
I want you
reviewed?
to add them to this meeting if you don't mind, that we,
Okay,
while reviewing the minutes of 12:16, it was brought to our attention. Yep, thank you,
Okay.
Ann.
will do.
All right, January 13th.
Number 3?
Yep.
No, sorry, in reports, item number 3, line 4, it says ESRA funding, it should say ESSER, all uppercase ESSER.
So, and it's number 3, not 2 again. 1, 2, 2.
And,
And I actually, I thought I caught that in all of the minutes, but I'll make note of Esser as well because I fixed it in many of them after I researched it, the spelling. I had it spelled multiple ways in multiple sets of minutes. So I will make sure Esser is Esser in all minutes.
And at the beginning, you have 1 call to order, 2 citizens' comments, and then you have a 2 again for minutes. So that just should be a 3.
I also will add that present, that was the first meeting I was at. So I mentioned in all the votes, but not as a present member in both this one
Okay,
and
I'll
the
add you.
next one.
Yeah, definitely, Melissa. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
And on page 2, number 4, under 6, it should be facilities master plan.
Okay, hang on. Page 2. What was the item? I'm sorry. I'm trying to follow them live on the thing.
Sure, number 6.
Oh, manner
number
plan.
4.
I want you to
Oh,
have
I
better
didn't see
manners at the facilities
Yeah, we
meetings.
need that. We need a better manners plan,
Okay,
too.
sorry.
and on the second line of, thank you for catching that, Karen. On the second line, it should be facilities, plural.
Okay, good. Yeah, I actually really, I know
Yes, sir.
not everybody appreciates being corrected, but I do.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Because you're honest, Ann.
You're
No,
humble.
but don't ever think I'll be offended by corrections because especially when I'm doing them remotely or through the review of the meetings after, they're really tough to follow sometimes. So I will never be offended by being corrected.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else for that one?
Nope.
All right. And then the 20th, January 20th.
I'm wondering who was here. Was Melissa here that time? She's not listed. Melissa. And Stephanie, were you at this meeting? I do not ever recall you not being here.
Was that our last meeting? I'm pretty sure I was here. You were here. You were here, Stephanie. Pretty sure.
I have my notes.
Because you voted, I guess you were here. Okay, very
I was
good.
sitting right beside you. I think we walked out together.
Yeah. Okay.
And she's not listed as absent. She's just not present for some reason. I'm sorry.
She's in La La.
All right, purgatory. Okay, and on the back, on page 2, number 4, end of the second line, I think it should be administration instead of administrative. Yep, and we have Tracy Novick again, and very bottom line, it is Susan Hollins, not Susan Collins,
Yeah.
the former superintendent, not the senator from Maine.
And I know her
Okay, thank
daughter.
you. Yep.
Go in the back.
All right. Anything else on January 20th?
Oh, we were gonna go back to these others?
Yep, I was just asking if there's anything else on January 20th. All right, so
for
now
some
we
reason-
have October 20th.
Okay, now we're going to these. She said October 20th. Oh, approved.
So, Anne, the parts that are highlighted, are there questions, like present committee members?
Sorry, I'm yakking away and I'm on mute. That meeting was not televised.
Ah,
And it was, I was unable to attend it. It was on a Wednesday and I had a prior commitment. So I don't know actually who was there. I don't know. And the same thing is true for the executive session minutes. So at some point, so I don't know if Renee or Claire was there. I don't know who was absent. You know, these are all things. I don't know when it was called to order. I don't know if there were any citizens' comments. I really don't know anything about the meeting. I just took the agenda and plunked it out there. So anybody that has information about that meeting, that took notes in their agendas, I do apologize. I can't remember 10:20. I don't remember. Something happened that day that I thought I was going to be able to attend and I was unable to. And then you went into an executive session and the executive session minutes, you know, there were two topics of discussion that have come up in subsequent meetings. So I can kind of ballpark what happened in them, but I can't, you know, these votes, these are just, they should have highlighted the votes too, because, yeah, I don't really know who was there. So I just had everybody say yes, that you went into executive session, you know, so I need a lot of information in order to make realistic minutes. So I think I wouldn't put these in the motion. I would just ask people to send me any information they have about that and I'll compile them and, you know,
Yep. I do
you know,
have
and
some
I
notes.
apologize for
some
that.
notes,
Yeah, I've
too.
been trying to get a recording of this one for a while from anybody who could get one. And what, I'm sorry, there's a small person under my desk plugging in an iPad to get recharged. I apologize.
Karen, did you make the motion?
We're
Karen?
watching a movie and going to bed.
I do know who was here.
Oh, okay. Well, that's really helpful.
Can we send it to her in an email, because we.
Yeah, any
Other
any
people may
information
have-
that anybody has, if you could just send it to me in a email, and I will put together a more comprehensive set of minutes, and we'll just table this one. We'll table 1020 and exclude it from the motion.
Okay.
And if you have any notes from the executive session, please do the same for that, because it's going to come up again the next time you approve executive session minutes.
Okay. So
All right.
I would like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
You actually have one.
We have one.
Oh,
So
okay.
if Jeannie can amend her motion to include all the others, and then you get it seconded, you'll be good to go.
All right.
It's already seconded too. Raina seconded it, but what we need to do is specify, you know, basically everything but October 14th and October 20th.
I will rephrase my motion. I would like to make a motion to approve the minutes of November 18th and 29th, December 9th and 16th, January 13th and January 20th, with corrections.
There's already a second. So any further discussion? I think we should just add 2022. Well, 2021 and 2022.
Yep. Well, then it would be January 13th of 22, and actually, the minutes for January 20th, 22, no, I'm sorry. And it would be January 13th of 22, January 20th of 22,
Okay,
as
great.
opposed to the others being 2021.
So point of order,
Yep.
so that this is clean. you already had a motion that you made, so you amended your motion, so that includes them all. Now, the person that seconded it would just second that again, because now they're,
Raina
You did.
Yes, I second that.
She was right behind you.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. So it's amended.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so we can go ahead and vote. Melissa?
Melissa Gary, yes.
Jeannie Milton, yes.
Jim Bell, yes.
Karen O'Neill, yes.
Alan Genovese, yes.
Raina Dasty, Northfield, yes.
David?
Robin Knight lied, yes, but I wasn't there for the December 9th, so I have to abstain from that part of it.
David Young, yes.
That's why you don't do them all.
Michelle Druso, Leiden, yes.
And Nathan? Nathan? Looks like maybe Nathan stepped away. Julie Burke, Northfield, yes. So we have a majority there. Okay. Ryan Potter, you can go ahead and give your report.
All right, great, thank you. So our Valentine's Day semi-formal dance will be happening this Saturday in the PVRS gym from 6 to 9 p.m. I'd also like to recognize 12th grade student Lucy Kester for being named MIAA Student Athlete of the Month. You know, she's my classmate, and I know that she's a very dedicated athlete, but she's also very hardworking in the classroom as well, and that's what being a really well-rounded student athlete is all about. So congratulations to her. Today during our Pathways block, 12th grade students helped us sign and distribute take-home rapid COVID-19 tests to any students that signed up for them. So they were given one box, and each box had 2 tests in them, and then when we get more tests in the future, they will be available to them. So it's nice that we're starting to get access to more and more types of testing here at Pioneer. Next week, our winter sports regular seasons will be coming to an end, and the MIAA tournament will begin. So our boys varsity team is currently 8-5, and our girls are 6-8. So both teams are fighting for a playoff spot with a couple games left in our final week. So it's definitely a really exciting time for sports here at Pioneer as well. So thank you.
Great, thank you, Ryan. Jeannie?
I've been following the Pioneer sports in the paper, and I want to congratulate Ryan on having an excellent year personally in basketball and helping to lead the team to victories.
The recorder's got some great shots of you in there.
Oh, you were looking your best.
Oh, okay. You're too kind, Jeannie.
Ryan, is there a set amount of wins that you need in order to get into the tournament, or are you there yet?
Yeah, so I think we need one more. So you need to go like at least 500. So 18 games, you need 9 wins.
Great. All right, well, you're always free to go. I know that you're terribly busy, so. All right, so just a quick chair report. I did send out our first warrants via DocuSign. It was actually shockingly easy to do. Melissa had told me it would be so, and it certainly was. We do need to make sure, though, that we are returning those in a timely manner. That ultimately was the point of having the documents, of using this service. We have been encouraged, and we voted to move to a sending out of the checks every 2 weeks. And that way we will be able to take advantage of kind of like a cash discount. You know, if you pay within the 30 days, you get discounts on certain things, certain vendors. I did get clarification that we need a majority of the signatures. So we do not need all 12, but we need at least 7. However, I would really appreciate because we never know who won't be able to sign, or if everyone could make that effort. We were not able to take advantage of the discount, as far as I know, because we were too late this time. So please, moving forward, just try to get in there. It's good practice to check your email every day. I know that we're all doing a ton of work here, but that way it won't be missed. And those of us that did it, it's super quick and easy, surprisingly so. And then the beauty of having new members on our committee is that they typically pour over all of the rules and regulations. And so I'm very grateful for Melissa pointing out that it looks like the chair is, under the agreement, the person that assigns the subcommittee chairs. Okay, I had thought that that was something that happened when the subcommittee met, that they would vote on a chair. So I will be sending out to everyone, all of the subcommittees, and asking for a volunteer. Okay, I'll do that first. If there's more than one, actually, I think that I was going to say, is there a volunteer? And then also a second part to that is who you would recommend as chair. So that way, if I have two people, we could kind of get a poll of how the group wants to go. It will be a little bit of work on my end, but I certainly don't feel like I can or want to just choose someone at will. If that makes sense to everyone. Yep, go ahead.
Are you speaking of the ones that have been without a chair for now, or all of them?
I'm completely fine with leaving the current chairs in place. It's just there were several absences in chair assignments when members have left. Yep.
Okay,
So,
good.
all right, and that's really
Julie?
yes.
Julie, it's Robin.
Hi,
I just want
Robin.
to tell you that, hi. So we did meet the building and grounds, and what we did is we were just going to forward a recommendation to you for our chair. So that would save you some work if you just asked the committees to meet and forward you a recommendation for their chair, and then you would just appoint it.
I like that even better. So certainly if you talk amongst yourselves and you come up with the same process and you choose one, you can just send that recommendation along to me and I'll approve it. Absolutely. Thanks, Robin. All right, so now our superintendent's report.
All right. Good evening, everybody. It is a busy time right now. As our student representative mentioned, upper students in the junior and senior classes have been taking over how to distribute these free COVID at-home test kits that are available to students and families. I am delighted to say that as of this afternoon, 259 students are signed up this week to take home their first box of 2 COVID test kits, and 119 of our staff. So there is still time to sign up. Go to our district website and go to the district update page, and you'll see the district update that talks about COVID testing, and it's a super simple sign-up form. Thank you. Also related to COVID, the Vax Bus is back tomorrow afternoon. And while there is a way to make an appointment, I think if you show up, you might just be able to get in there and get yourself either a COVID vaccination or a booster shot.
You also get a flu shot.
A flu shot.
Flu, that's what I was going to
Sorry.
say. They're giving flu shots also.
Yep, that's right here tomorrow afternoon in this building from 2 to 6 o'clock. And at 6 o'clock in this very room, we will have Tracy Novick of MASC. She will be speaking in person, but we will also be streaming that live. I just got the link right before this meeting. We'll put a banner on the front of the district webpage saying, here's the link. We'll also put it on the budget development page. She's terrific, and she will be providing an informational seminar on regional school, boy, what a nerdy thing. Regional school district finance, how those budgets are put together. Come and learn. I am also happy to say that this week we received a letter from the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education saying that our special education program for 2022 falls into the meets requirements category of the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. We scored 30 out of 32 points, or 93.8%. That got us into the category, and the threshold for getting into that category of meets requirements is 75%. Wow. So go team. Thank you to our special educators. Thank you to our special education administrators. And a few quick follow-ups from prior meetings. Someone asked me at a school committee meeting about masks for athletes. We provide our student athletes with black surgical masks that are approved by MIAA. Someone asked about CORIs, the Criminal Offender Registry checks. They are free to this district. We, as a certified government entity, we pay no cost to conduct CORI checks on people. And sorry?
You do pay for fingerprints, though.
And the applicant pays for fingerprints. We don't pay for fingerprints.
Do you think that has discouraged many people from volunteering?
That's a great question, Jean, and I do not know the answer. There was also, and this is my last item for the report, a question about what happens on snow days with extracurricular activities, after-school activities, and sports. And I reached out to the 3 principals. Here are their answers. At NES, whenever there is a weather-related closure, all after-school activities are canceled, including rec commission activities held in the building. At BES, all school-related activities are canceled, but under the terms of the lease with Bernardston, their rec commission may hold activities after school. There is a general concern from both of the elementary principals that if it's snowing during the day, it may be hard for our custodians to keep up with snow removal and keep those sidewalks and entryways clear and safe for any after-school activities that were to take place in Bernardston. So just a note. Lastly, at this building, clubs and other non-athletic activities would not take place. Sports practices would be canceled unless a coach asks the athletic director for permission to practice. If that's okayed, that practice is optional, so that students whose families feel it's not safe for them to be traveling don't have to travel. We are not a no school, no play school. I think I said that wrong. In terms of games, that is a decision, that's a conversation among the athletic director, principal, and the superintendent. The athletic director is in communication with the athletic director of other schools. It is hard to reschedule games, so while school might be canceled some days, we may go ahead and hold games. So that is my follow-up.
Thank you. Okay, our Director of Finance report.
I knew me and I.
Yeah, good to see you standing, Judy, and walking.
In 6 long weeks.
Yes, I bet.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So the first item on the business office reports is the AP report. I did receive a question from a committee member about one of the things, so I just wanted to share it with the rest of the committee. There was a question on, I don't think anybody has the AP report because it's like 50-something pages long.
I can pass it around. I have a copy of it here.
Yep. So it was just about on the bottom of page 4, and it's just our insurance assessment for FY22 from GIC. This is a recurring payment that we pay every month. It's in the amount of $70,329. So I just wanted to share that with everyone else. Was there any questions on this AP report? Any others on any specific checks that were cut out this month? Okay. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next thing, which is the signing of the warrants, and I'm glad that DocuSign worked out well.
Yes. I'm currently in the free trial phase.
Yes.
I just ignored the,
Yep.
the other part, so I'm curious as to what will happen at the end of 30 days, but we'll see.
Yep, no, I wanted to take full advantage of that, so we'll get
Yeah.
through this month
Okay.
with the free trial.
Okay.
But then we'll connect once
Sure.
that trial is up. So I know it was the first time, so unfortunately we didn't quite get some of the discounts that we could have gotten. But again, it was the first time, and thank you for stressing it,
Yep.
Chairperson Burke, that we do need these signatures on a timely basis.
Yep.
So I appreciate that. The next part is the January 2022 financials. And just a couple of things just to point out. If you look at the high level, which I believe is orange.
Yellow.
Yeah, yellow, sorry. I'll get it one of these days. Again, just if you want to look at the number that's all the way to the right, the grand total, that's our current surplus of the money that's still kind of out there in the budget. It's a little less than $1 million. Again, it's a little bit more than it was last month because there were a couple of things I had to do. There were some ESSER charges that had to be moved, some POs that had to be adjusted. So this is a more accurate representation of where we're at right now. Again, you can see that, about half of that is still in salaries. And, as we get towards close to the end of the year, it's really tough to fill positions now at this point. So I think that this is a good standing of where we are financially. And again, the expenditure report, if you look through it, every department in school still has surplus, still has money in their budget. So again, this is where we're going to go into the second half of the year, the last quarter. So again, there are funds available if, certain kind of emergencies come up. And again, we still do have ESSER money as well. And then for the general fund revenues, again, we've collected a little more than half, which is typical. That's the orange one. Sorry. So that's a little more than half. So again, right on track with there. Are there any questions about the January financials? Okay, moving on to the budget transfers. Again, there are just a little minor cleanup things. Again, there were some funding changes between some positions that had to be reclassed, and a couple of minor things that came up. Nothing that requires an approval from the commission or the committee because it was in between control accounts. Are there any questions on those transfers? Okay, I'll move on to the last report, which is the lunch report for January. We had an opening balance on January 1st, 2022 of $76,449.22. We had total expenditures of $28,637.41. We brought in total revenue of $51,745.84, which made the net profit for the month of January at $23,108.43. And we have a closing balance as of January 31st, 2022 at $99,557.65. Again, so the lunch fund it's still doing well. It's still healthy. The revenues were higher than usual. So I did consult with our food service director, Mike Honorado, and pretty much the reason why it was higher for last month is because just the number of days in the month. January, we're all coming back from holiday vacation. And also our participation in school lunch is up to 68%, which is, I think, 15-20% higher than it was like a couple of years ago. So again, I think that the universal free lunch program is kids or students are really taking advantage of it.
That's good.
So again, I can't say that profit will be great next month because again, February we have February vacation, so there'll be less operating days. But again, I'm not too worried about it. I think that the lunch fund has some good substance in it. Are there any questions about the lunch report? All right, that was quick today. That's all I have.
I was just wondering if we could get an update on our fiscal budget that we're working on. I know you're working many hours to get it ready. Just want to make sure that we'll be prepared for Tuesday.
We will be.
Okay.
We're Copley Square is in sight. The last piece is that now we have all of the state revenues and is now calculating the assessments. So I'm in the process of taking care of the assessments so that you'll know what your assessments are on a first pass. We've had several meetings with the superintendent to go through things and make sure that we're doing things in a fiscally responsible way. and to be able to make sure that we're fully transparent so that you can see the full cost of certain items, and then we'll have a bunch of columns that will show you where we've offset things to take pressure off the general fund. So we're very close to that moment, and by Monday, you should have something sent to you.
Alan?
Has our end-of-year report been filed for this past year?
Yes, it has.
It has been filed. And how about our E&D? Where do we stand?
We're still waiting for it to be certified.
But everything's been sent in to be certified?
Correct.
Thank you.
And the audit has to happen first before it can be certified?
Yep, so I've been talking with Melanson, and they are coming at the end of this month.
Okay.
Good.
All right. Oh, Jeannie's.
Just while we're talking about the budget, has a letter gone out to the chairman of the finance committees of each town, just stating that we appreciate their patience while we're trying to resolve the budget for the next year? I think.
Patricia spoke to all of them personally, I believe.
Yes, I was on the phone with each of the 4 finance committee chairs several days ago when we had to push back for a week.
All right, because I think
They deserve that.
they deserve it, and also I think it was done last year when the same thing was happening, and I was told how much it was appreciated.
David?
My question is, has to do with the audit and the E&D, and I think at some point I heard that things are looking like the timing is going to be such that we're not going to have it to consider as revenue. And furthermore, I think there's an indication that the E&D is in excess of 5%, and there would be some money coming to the town. So I suppose we got a good chance, no matter what, we'll get E&D certified before June 30th, and the school committee could possibly do something with some of it. I wondered what your sense of the condition of our books is, because I asked a question of the treasurer, and then Warwick Finance Committee Chairman asked. We're just trying to get to the amount of money that Warwick owes so we can pay our share of the State House debt. And that should be easy. And I think looking at documents that were provided today, that I, a mere school committee member, think that the amount is the $317,000 and change that shows up as revenue in this year's budget. And then I think if you look on the first page of expenditures, that the pay down of last year's principal amount. Because I think what we're doing is borrowing for 1 year, paying it down, borrowing it again.
Mm-hmm.
At any rate, you've been on the job for half a year, maybe. Probably seems like a lot longer. How are you finding the condition of our books? Is it a lot of extra work figuring things out? Is it recognizable? I always wondered about the software personally, because I've been told again and again, oh, it doesn't have that functionality. And a lot of times when you hear that, you don't know if that's, the operator doesn't know how to use it or it doesn't exist. But getting this kind of stuff cranked out ought to, I would hope that Pioneer is using something that's recognizable as school software that dovetails with DESI without a terrible amount of double backflips.
No, I mean, so we use Infinite Vision, which is a program with Tyler Technologies, and I've used Infinite Visions for about 10 years now, and I find it a very helpful tool. I think that the reports that it provides are very accurate. I think they're pretty easy to read. There's different modules. I mean, that's how we run our payroll. That's it's a one-stop shop, so it's really easy to pull information from every source that we have. As far as the overall health of the district, I think that you guys are in decent shape. I don't see any real scary things coming up. Again, I know that a big issue was the lunch fund, and again, that's looking very healthy. You're sitting on a pretty decent surplus right now. Again, the E&D, when that gets certified, that will be a healthy amount as well. I'm confident that this district is pulling itself out of a hole that it was in.
I was talking more about, I can read the financial statements, and all government is awash in money right now. I was wondering about our systems. Infinite Visions, I never heard of it. I thought that Pioneer used something else for its accounting software. But I can't remember the name of it.
I mean, it used to be called FundSense. I don't know if that rings a bell.
Yeah. What was that again? Fund what?
It used to be called FundSense. What was it? It was called something. It's been through a couple of name changes. I think it was called something else after FundSense. Budget Sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was Budget Sense, and now it's Infinite Visions.
Budget Sense.
Or Infinite Problems, depending on who you ask.
All right, David.
So Budget Sense went to what you're using now? I didn't realize that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
When they upgraded, they changed the name.
So you were able to take the spreadsheets and the information that Tanya had using that and pulling that forward to get your end-of-year report?
Yes. Yep.
And when do you anticipate E&D would be certified?
So it's out of our hands at this point, so it's really when the state gets back to us.
Okay.
Which will be following the audit.
No, I understand that.
Okay.
You have to have the audit first.
Yep.
And then,
Yeah, and we have reached out to the Division of Local Services to see if we can come to some way of at least having an estimate that would be able to be used. And so we're still having that discussion with her, and hopefully we'll be able to do something that would give you a number before the audit happens, because, as we explained to her, that the auditors were the ones who pushed the date back. We did not do that, and so she's trying to work with us to be able to get to a number that you can use.
David and then Alan.
I would like to receive a copy of the unaudited financial statements, the income statement and the balance sheet for the end of the year. That would be one of the basic things that the auditor is working for. So we see so what would that be? The school committee expenditure report after the year's closed for the year?
Yep.
Something that would provide me with the ability to look at the unaudited net income and the change in fund balance from prior year.
Yep, we can get that to you.
Thank you.
So do you anticipate that DOR, you're going to have this certified so it doesn't impact in the timeline, so it's not impacting local aid?
Yeah, I don't see it impacting locally. No, that's not an issue.
All right.
All right, David, one more question.
No, it's a comment. The impact on local aid is when you don't get certain documents filed on time, they eventually send, in February, they send you a letter. It says your local aid payments are going to stop flowing. You're still going to get the revenue, but the cash flow stops until you come into compliance.
That's right.
So that's what the letter I think we got. I used to get those every year with a certain county.
Thanks, David.
Voice of experience.
All right, is there anything else for our financial partners? All right, thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, so we will move on to our interim superintendent formative evaluation.
Okay. If you'll just let me set the backdrop for this.
Please.
Okay. One of our responsibilities as school committee members is to evaluate the superintendent in a meeting which is open to the public, generally mid-year, followed by a written evaluation before the end of the fiscal year. Tonight, our job is to have a conversation about the superintendent's progress and performance, to understand as a group her progress on each goal, and finally agree on any mid-year adjustments that may be needed. So there'll be 3 parts to this discussion. First of all, the superintendent will make a presentation, right, on her performance on professional standards. Second, we'll discuss the document she provided to us outlining her progress toward the 3 goals she had chosen for herself. And we will hold a general conversation, that'll be number 3, about the goals and what, if any, adjustments might need to be made at that time. Again, since this is a conversation, please feel free to be recognized by the chair, to offer a comment or pose a question at any time it seems relevant. Okay? So
Thank you.
we'll turn it over to Patricia.
Thank you, Karen.
Yep.
So for the folks who are here, I want to orient you to paper. Joanne kindly made a copy for you of the pages of the DESI document outlining the superintendent evaluation process, pages 12 and 13. That's on this orange colored paper. You have a multi-page document that has the indicator rubric. It looks, for folks at home, it looks like this. And that has sections in green.
Can you show that again?
Yep.
Please, Patricia? Thank you.
That has specific indicators shaded in green that back in November I had suggested to you might be good indicators for me to focus on this year when thinking about my entry to the district. And then the 2 documents that I'll be using tonight to present to you. The first is in portrait orientation. It's a little booklet that has black and white images of the slides that I'll walk you through tonight. And secondly, my goals sheet. That's white with some light green. And these were sent to you previously, and I appreciate your patience. They didn't come out until last night. And both of these documents have many live links. We'll click on some of those links tonight, but not all of them. And these documents will be available on the district website for folks at home who don't have them already, and you can click and look at all the evidence yourself. Right? So we'll start. I'm going to share my screen if that's okay.
Yeah.
School committee at home, can you see this light blue slide with a piece of student artwork?
Michelle has a thumbs up.
Great, okay. So this is my report on work in relation to the 4 standards. And this beautiful artwork comes from our 3rd grade students at NES. We are so lucky in this district. We have great art teaching, instruction, all the way from pre-K through 12th grade. That's a really strong aspect of our instructional program. There are 4 standards of effective administrative leadership outlined by the state. Standard 1 is instructional leadership. Standard 2 is management and operations. Standard 3 is family and community engagement. And Standard 4 is professional culture. And it is frequently the case, as will be tonight, that one piece of evidence could span several standards. Okay, so what happened? When I arrived in very late August, what was happening? What was the administrative landscape? Our district has been through so much transition. And what was the actual physical landscape? My first day on the job, I got notified that we had mold at BES. And so that was just diving right in. I would say that this issue of mold and my response to it, my leading the team here, because all of this is about teamwork, relates to standards 2, 3, and 4, management and operations, family and community engagement, and professional culture. And what you have here is a sample. So I'll just show you so that in case you haven't seen this already, when you click on something like this letter, this email, it takes you to the full email. And this email is one that I wrote to our colleagues in Bernardston, because one of my goals in managing the mold situation was to ensure that town officials were kept informed at every step along the way. We rent from them, it's their building, we are partners. So you can see here, I'm looking forward to meeting you, etc., and then sharing with them before it went out to anybody else, the email that was going out to BES families and staff. The administrative landscape. This is a quick org structure chart that I put together to show what things were like when I arrived and what they are like now. Yes?
I just have a question. Did you receive a response back from the town of Bernardston?
We were
to your
in contact
email?
continually. Yeah, I was on the phone, and in fact, if I'm not mistaken, was Bob there that day?
Probably.
Yeah. Bob, Tony, and I. So I wrote this on Saturday morning while I was there. Bob was there, Tony Streeter was there, and the folks we hired to test air were there. So, yeah. So, you can see this is a really flat organizational chart. I have 11 direct reports to me right now, which is fine, and there are ways that we could improve things. The folks in green, those positions either were just filled or had not yet been filled. So TMS Business Office, this committee was making the decision to hire them, I think, just as I came in. We didn't have a facilities director. So the management of the mold at BES was entirely mine. Happy to do it. It was a great way to learn, and that would have been a facilities director's job. Chris Fontaine, our fantastic director of technology, had arrived 2 weeks before I came here, and my second day was his then technician's last day. And over here on the right, we did not have an athletics director at the time. So right now, this is what it looks like, 11 direct reports. I'm showing you this. This doesn't mean I think we should do this, but in many other places, there would be a few different levels to the organizational chart. So I might have 5, 6 direct reports. The business office, the business manager, might supervise food services, facilities, and technology. The business office manages not only the finances, but also much of operations. We have a special education administrator. That's completely fine. I am not suggesting we change it. And in some places, that position is a director of student services, which encompasses not only special education, but also nursing, civil rights, early childhood. Early childhood, because early childhood programs in most Massachusetts public school districts have a significant special education component. So just this was the landscape. There was, it's a very flat structure right now, a lot of direct reports, a lot of empty or just newly filled positions. And so this all relates to instructional leadership, standard 1, which is about supervision and evaluation, and management and operations. So once school started, what was happening? It was COVID. It is COVID. It's COVID all the time. We did a lot. This committee accomplished so much in relation to COVID. You asked me to get working on a possible vaccine mandate, a vaccine policy, and you directed me first to find out, well, how many folks here are already vaccinated? And with the support of our nursing staff, we got that done, and we got it done quickly. We had great results. We're so fortunate. So many of our staff were already vaccinated before you approved a vaccine policy. Over here is a sample, let me make it nice and big. I share this piece of evidence because it's the draft survey that I sent to our union leadership for review. I do that very frequently when there's something that's going out. I need the union to give me their feedback on what about a document works, doesn't work, what might need to be tweaked. So this is just an example of sending something out for review, and that had previously gone to Russell, our attorney. So something like getting ready for a vaccine policy requires surveying, lots of communication, lots of writing. I do a lot of writing on my job, and getting feedback on that, and then disseminating information. And then we have the vaccine policy. And along with the policy comes, almost equally important, the actual implementation procedures. Because if we don't have an effective mechanism for getting the information out to staff and helping them understand both a technical and a cultural change, then the policy won't be effective. So we got this information out. Again, thank you to our union leadership for feedback. So what does this look like now? You approved a policy that said folks either have to be vaccinated or they've got to participate in weekly on-site testing or bring proof of off-site PCR testing weekly. So that means we have to invent a system for checking. Mm-hmm. So we have a spreadsheet that is, very few people have access to it. It means that we need to have everyone in the district, staff, school committee, all volunteers, coaches, the bus drivers, we need to collect documentation of their vaccination, keep a record of that, and then for folks who have chosen not to be vaccinated, we need to have a way of monitoring every single week whether they have participated in our on-site testing, and if they haven't, have they brought my office a copy of an outside PCR test? Have we gotten results? So there's a lot of follow-up here, and this is teamwork among Carla Simpson, our district nurse leader, Joanne Wallace, my administrative assistant, and myself. I am proud to say we are on top of this. So if you look here at column L, week of 117, great. Everybody who wasn't tested, we're covered with them. Mm-hmm. Anytime there's, moving to the right, there's a pink cell. I've used what's called conditional formatting. If someone doesn't have a yes or a special, then it's pink, and we know we still need to get something from them. So I want you to be confident that when you approve a policy, my office will work hard to figure out an effective, manageable, reasonable methodology for enacting that policy.
Good.
Yeah, sorry.
On column F, it says testing and it's a date to come. What
Yes.
does that indicate?
That means that someone had a positive, they had COVID, and so there's a period of time during which we won't be testing them, but I put that in there so that we have a very clear record of when we need to start testing them again.
Mm-hmm. Are you noting your standards, Patricia, as you go?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Great.
Sorry. So that I would say that this is about management and operations and also professional culture, because I am trying to behave in a way that makes clear I have high standards for myself and that I will behave ethically and in as straightforward a manner as possible. And so I strive to have my communications and the guidance that I send out be of high quality as a model for other folks in the district. Speaking about communications, what I heard from some families early on was that there had been some possible frustration with maybe insufficient communication at time between school and home. So I have focused on communications. I came to you early in the fall, trying to pull together information about the grade 6 transition. This was clearly a issue that was important. There was a great deal of time sensitivity around it. There was a lot of backstory to it. And so when I presented to you a brief slideshow about my understanding of the grade 6 transition process to date, I tried to keep the slides very clean and simple and careful, and demonstrate to you that I had done research. And that is about building credibility, right? And managing challenge by moving through difficulty methodically and in as calm a manner as possible, and also through listening to people. I didn't come to you until I had had a number of conversations and meetings with a range of people about the grade 6 issue. So I would say that this slideshow actually relates to all 4 standards. Standards 3 and 4, family and community engagement and professional culture. I have started a small Twitter feed. I think I'm up to maybe 75, 80 people at this point. However, one of my tweets has had over 50,000 views. And that is because it was picked up by Newsweek. It was picked up by several major outlets. It was about the issue with the masks that the state sent out. And I do use Interplay. This is my professional PVRSD Twitter account. I have a personal account that's connected to a lot of folks in the eastern part of the state and a few folks around the country. And so I actually kind of use a little bit of interplay between my personal and professional account. So I use this to let folks know about what's happening in the schools. So, for example, John Heffernan has such great things happening in his engineering and technology and design courses. So you'll see on this tweet, so if you click it, you get to my Twitter account, and you can see it on the actual Twitter feed. So I try to, when possible, tag folks who might then retweet something about the district, because part of the goal is to establish a digital footprint for us that is upbeat, that's positive, that makes clear we have exciting educational opportunities happening, that we have arts and athletic opportunities happening. This can help us when it comes to recruiting people, whether that's educators, whether that's administrators. If they search for PVRSD online and they see that we are connected throughout the state, that's good for us. So if anyone's on Twitter, I encourage you to follow me, please, so that we can build our audience. So this would be family and community engagement and professional culture. Also with communications, you know that we have made this switch to offering the SMORE newsletter format to all of our administrators. Deb Wood has done such a nice job with this newsletter. You can see here on the left is an example of an email she sent out in the past that had so much information about this amazing array of opportunities for families of young children. And that's fantastic. On the right is what happens when she then puts her information into this SMORE format. It is more user-friendly, it's a little easier to read, it's a bit more engaging. So I share this as an example of, I didn't do this work, but the administrative team together, when we made the switch to SMORE, it created the opportunity for Deb Wood to improve her outreach to families. So that would be, again, standards 3 and 4. And you know that I use the district update. It has gotten a nice response from people. I get emails from folks who say, thank you, I appreciate it. And I respond to suggestions like someone said, please tell us every single time where we can find them. So down at the bottom, there's always a link that says you may find all of the district updates. Click here. They're archived. Up here is where they're archived on the district website. I try to take pictures of student artwork whenever I can, and when I have a bit more time, I crop those photos and get them into the district update so that I can showcase as frequently as possible what our kids are doing. And when I'm just more pressed for time, I'm not able to get the artwork in. But I'm proud of this. I think this was a good move for the district. This would be standards 2, 3, and 4, management and operations, family and community engagement, and professional culture. And I look forward to supporting other administrators in increasing their use. And this was cheap. This is $1,000 a year for the district, for all of the administrators to have access to it. This piece of evidence is about standards 2 and 4, management and operations, and professional culture. And this is where, this is where things can get a little, again, I'll use the word for a second time tonight, nerdy. So we all do better when we have clear information in advance. That helps us plan, that helps us manage our expectations, that helps us know what it is that we need to do and is expected of us. So snow days and delayed starts, what will actually happen on those days for different kinds of workers in the district? What is the district's expectation of them? So one might think that this is an easy email to write, and it's most certainly not, because it requires talking to folks in the business office, talking to folks in all of the buildings, talking to the unions, talking to the administrative assistants, talking to the custodians to find out what has been past practice when there's a snow day. Do you have to come to work? It means going into the contracts and reading the contracts, I'm finding out. So this email actually had 23 back and forths with a range of people before it went out, because I needed folks to tell me, what do we do here in the past? What happens now? So it was nice and clear, and I got a few thank yous. Gosh, it's good to know. And despite all the research and back and forth, there were folks who were not happy with it, because the expectations it outlined were different from their prior experience, or they just didn't like them. So while this might have gone through a good process, it doesn't always mean that it makes people happy. And that is part of cultural change, right? Clarifying expectations and being just super clear. And then maybe most importantly, supporting staff, supervising staff, and evaluating staff. And this relates to standards 1, 2, and 4, instructional leadership, management and operations, and professional culture. I have supervised a lot of people in my time, and I've taught courses on supervision, and I've taught many courses, so much professional development on evaluation. So I've had time to think through some of my core values, and they are that every single staff person in every role deserves to be treated at every moment with dignity and respect. Secondly, that good supervisors give folks feedback early and often. No one should have surprises. And lastly, meticulous record keeping is essential to all good HR practice. So here's a sample of my calendar. This is a week in late November, early December. It's not a particularly different week, and I think maybe you can't see on that. What it shows is that on Monday morning, I start my morning every week over at BES, because when I got here, the elementary principals made clear that perhaps in the past, district leadership has not been visible enough in their buildings. And so every single week, I start one day at BES and I start one day at NES. I'm there on other days too, but at one building, each building every week. And every other week, part of my time there is to meet with the principal one-on-one in their office. Do you remember that slide with the flat organizational structure and 11 direct reports? I meet with every one of my direct reports every other week. Most meetings are an hour. And I have an ongoing online document with each person that's separate. And we keep our notes for that meeting. And either one of us in between meetings may go into that document and add notes. I'll show you an example of what that looks like. It's a real organizing tool for us. And we keep track of tasks that we set for ourselves. And then at the beginning of our next meeting, we open up the document and see how we did. Did we do our tasks? If not, et cetera.
And you have that with me too.
I have it with Julie,
Yes.
too. I have it with the business office also. You can see here, I started Monday at BES, I started Thursday at NES. I've got Christy on Tuesday morning for her evaluation, talk conversation, Maren, hers, Ariel, I rescheduled our one. I mean, there's a lot of one-on-one time with folks because they deserve that, they need that. And that means, however, that there may be times when during the day I can't answer email because what I need to do is be present with the people in front of me versus answering email. So please remember that if I don't respond as quickly as you might hope. So again, these bi-weekly meetings, I want to share with you a trick that has worked really, really well. In our meetings, so this is end of December, talking with the business office, that first bullet point says PK to set up Google Calendar, quote, admin absence draft. And you see how it's struck through? That used to be red. Red in our one-on-one meetings documents means it's a task for either myself or the other person. And we have the most satisfying moment when we have completed a task, we get to change it from red to black and strike it out. So all of that strikeout that you see here is something that was a piece of work that has been done. It's a super simple organizing tool, and it works. So these meetings and the documentation, they build accountability, and they also help us create some momentum because things don't lag, right? I'm getting close to the end here. This is a bit of evaluation of feedback I got. This relates to standards 1, 2, and 4, instructional leadership, management and operations, and professional culture. One of the challenges for me in jumping in at the very end of August was that it was great to hit the ground running, and I didn't have those 2 months that a new superintendent typically has to get the lay of the land and spend some time with her administrative team to do some professional development, some professional learning with each other. And so far this year, it's been a lot about the business and less than I would like about professional learning with each other. I'm showing you this because I was able to have one learning session with the elementary principals and our special education administrator and our curriculum coordinator talking about the rollout of the ELA curriculum. And this is a very simple method of getting feedback. Give people a blank index card, have them write please on the top of one side and thank you on the top of the other, and ask them to sit quietly at the end of a learning session or meeting and say please about something and thank you about something else. It's simple. But then when one gathers it and organizes it, you can see themes. And what I'm happy to see here is folks said, thank you for making dedicated time for quality, engaging conversations and work, for helping us to clarify what's needed, for sharing with us information gathered, and for giving us space, structure, and feedback to review and time to reflect on this process. That's good feedback, right? That indicates that was a well-structured use of time and an opportunity for them to engage in work that really mattered. And with that, this portion of my presentation comes to a close. I still want to talk about my goals, but I want to thank you for the chance to share a little bit about what I have been doing.
Does anybody wish to make a comment or initiate a conversation at this point? Or would you like us to move on?
Michelle, go right ahead. Oh, you're on mute.
I would like to start the conversation because I have to say I'm very impressed with this presentation. I just want to say also that because I am on the search committee for a permanent superintendent. My comments are not going to be biased. I am going to do my job to get the best superintendent for this district and for the students so that we can move forward in a very positive manner. But what Patricia has shown us is effective, experienced leadership that this district so deserved for so long and for so many years. I have never seen such data analysis. We had a lot of data analysis from business managers, but not from superintendents with such concise PowerPoint, I'm calling them PowerPoint presentation. That goes back to my years, that gives the school committee as well as the community as a whole an understanding what the interim superintendent has been working on. And I just want to say that I want to thank Patricia for what she has done. She has contacted me a lot about various things. And I am very excited to be a part of this school committee and to work with such leadership. And I hope we can go forward and continue the momentum to get this school district back on track. And I hope it stirs more conversation.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle. Robin?
Hi. Yes, Pat, I really do appreciate the presentation. And I think that coming in, it's only been like 4 short months and you've had to deal with a lot and it's ongoing. And I don't know if this is an appropriate time. So if it's not, just say this is not the place for this, but you're kind of facing your first big controversy right now with some hiring issues. And I was just wondering if you don't have to address that particularly, but how you plan to deal with those kind of controversies with the public. And if you don't, it's okay if you think it's inappropriate to answer this at this time.
Yeah, so Robin, as a school committee, we aren't to discuss personnel matters.
I realize, but I'm just talking about controversy, not that particular thing, but controversy from the community. How, as you move forward, how would you address that?
Thank you, Robin. I want to become, I feel so fortunate in life in general because I have an orientation towards learning. I feel like I will never in my life be able to learn all the things I want to learn about. And similarly, I don't know if it's because I was raised in a very religious household and I believed everything, but I want to become a better person. I want to become a better person morally and interpersonally. And a corollary to that is I want to become a better and better professional. And so I hold myself to standards sometimes that might be unreasonably high. I hope that I behave in ways in one-on-one meetings with people and with members of our community that are consistently marked by kindness and forthrightness and charity. Meaning, I hope people will extend a bit of grace towards me at a moment I might need it. And similarly, I hope to extend to the people I supervise and my colleagues grace when they need it. And it's my job to be the district leader for as long as I'm here. And that means sometimes that I will make decisions that people really don't like. And that's okay. meaning I'm okay. As long as I am inside myself morally satisfied that I have behaved ethically and that I have followed the law and policy, then it's my job to weather the storm and to be able to sit with people when they are very disappointed or angry with me. So in general, I will try to, I consult with our legal counsel every step of the way in difficult situations. I consult with the chair in difficult situations, and I hope that what you will see of me is that I will be a reasonable and calm presence with the public when this district needs me to step forward and face a challenge.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're
I
welcome.
really appreciate that answer.
Thanks, Robin. Anyone else?
Well, is this the point at which I defer to the chair and say, we have 5 minutes left? And what is the will of
Okay,
the
so
committee?
thank you for, out of respect for finishing
Yes.
the formative evaluation, Patricia, how much time would you?
I can say this in 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
This part right here.
Great.
So this is what I'm holding up now, folks at home, is the document that is about my goals and progress towards my goals. And I'm not going to click on links. I'm not going to put it up on the screen. Thank you for your patience earlier.
Sure.
Excuse me, Patricia, which one?
It's this one, Jeannie?
Yeah, that's right.
That's it. That's exactly right.
Oh,
It's this one.
This one.
thank you.
So at the top, it has, it says student learning goal. So there are 3 goals. There's a student learning goal, a professional practice goal, and a district improvement goal. Now, I would love to come to you and have each of my goals, almost done. Not possible, and some of them weren't ready, scheduled to be done until later. For my student learning goal, I want to support my administrators in becoming better evaluators. And as I've said, I love doing that work. I've done lots of professional development in different districts, and we have barely scratched the surface. I have held one-on-one evaluation meetings with all of the administrative team members, and I will note, almost all of them have said they have never held these types of meetings before, in which they sit with me quietly and we pull out the rubric relevant to their position, and they take a quiet 20 minutes with a highlighter and self-assess themselves. And then they talk to me about what they notice in their self-assessment, and I ask them to consider work they would like to engage in for the year that has actual meaning to them. Nothing about this process should be a check off the box process. It should actually be something that will make them a better administrator and a better instructional leader. So we've done a nice job with that. If you click on these links, you can see evidence that I've held all these goals meetings, etc. But I have not begun professional development with my team. What's great is that because I've done so much of this work, I don't have to reinvent the wheel. So in March, in that second row, you can see there's a sample link on the far right. I have PD agendas and materials ready to go. I don't have to make them. So when time opens up, we'll get there. But right now, I'm not so far along. My professional practice goal, oh boy, how do you like this? Our budget development process is going to be timely, transparent, and inclusive. Yeah.
In fairness, you knew when you came on board what our business, our business looked like.
Yes, and we've done a lot. I think we've done okay. We've got a budget development webpage up. We've got the district update has gone out. We have our meetings set up. We didn't do as good a job as I had hoped in terms of supporting building administrators in talking with their staff about what do you think we need in a budget. That didn't happen. It didn't happen. I can't pretend that it did. We aren't. I wish that we were about 6 weeks ahead of where we are in terms of budget development, but a lot of good work has taken place. I'll leave it at that.
And if I could just comment, and you're learning things along the way. So it's not
Yes.
exactly about check the box, you were able to do this. The amount that you learned while
Yes.
you're doing this is the most important thing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm going to give a shout out again to Rick Kingsley, our financial overseer. Rick Kingsley, I feel, is providing me a graduate course in regional budgets. I'm not kidding. He spends so much time with me, and it's making me more knowledgeable and helping me manage this process. So shout out to Rick for his good work. Lastly, the district improvement goal. Oh, sorry, did
I
someone
said,
say?
does he want to be our business manager?
No. He is so ready not to, no. Jeannie, I've asked.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I've asked. The last one, I feel good about this. This is about improving communications between school and home. Honestly, I feel like I'm doing, I like writing, I work hard at my writing. I'm trying to write clear emails. I'm trying to get these district updates out. I'm trying not to over communicate and bombard people with emails, but I'm feeling pretty good. What we have not yet done is I have not worked with my team and had writing workshops where we actually pull in real samples of their emails and other communications and mine and sit and edit them and make them better and practice. We'll get there, but there's just been so much happening that some of that great learning that we should be doing as an administrative community, it hasn't happened yet, but it will. And that was my really fast report on progress towards my goals. Oh, lastly, sorry, this relates to one of the earlier ones. I have been out meeting. I've met with the select boards, I've met with the FinComs, and the dates are there.
Thank you.
I do have a question. I think the s'more thing is really awesome. I will say, I know parents have expressed that they like the communication, but during your presentation, you did mention that it was $1,000. What budget line item did that come out of, and will we have that for future budgets?
I don't know exactly which account number it came from, and I will triple check, and I think we have budgeted for, I'm certain we have budgeted for it, but I'll find out.
More conversation? I just want to add, as a parent, I've been here, I bought my home in '09, I believe, and so had kids in the districts for 13 years, so I've only been on the school committee since November of 2020. So admittedly, I did not tune in to school committee meetings much prior to being a part of the committee. The ones that I did, I did not see any of this type of information, as Michelle said, so beautifully presented, and with so much, you exude a presence of caring with everything that you present. As a parent, I have never felt so communicated with or in the know as I have in the past 4 months that you have been aboard. So that is incredibly meaningful to me, and I have pride in that, that my kids are in a district that I know what's going on. And so I just wanted to say thank you for that and make those 2 comments, one really from a parental standpoint. And also from a school committee standpoint, I have been on the receiving end, gratefully as the chair, to benefit from you modeling how to run a professional, well-structured meeting. And you've helped me in my own professional practice in my day job. So I'm greatly appreciative of that as well. All right, does anyone else have anything?
I would just like to say, as chair of the Personnel and Curriculum Committee, this has been the easiest of any evaluation, whether formative or final, that I have gone through with an administrator. It's just a thank you.
Thank you,
Because I've never seen such a well-organized and beautifully presented series of documents. Thank you.
Thank you.
Robin?
I just wanted to also thank you for that. And Karen, I wanted to thank you because it was very confusing to me last time, and it was pretty clear, very clear about what was going to happen at this meeting, and I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you.
Raina?
So, I think a lot of my sentiments have already been sort of said tonight. I think the communication has been wonderful. I've really enjoyed the lines of communication as the chair of the negotiation subcommittee. I think we've done a lot of work together, and listening to this presentation, it reminded me of how much you hit the ground running and all of the things that you have accomplished in the last few short months have been pretty impressive. So thank you for all of your hard work.
Rain is a negotiations queen. Can we just admit that? She's worked so hard.
Yeah, I believe it. Perhaps, this is just a suggestion, if we have any directions that we would like to change in as far as the goals and focus standards go, perhaps we could save that for the beginning of the next meeting. Does that sound okay? All right. Give us some time to think about it. Right. Thank you.
Okay, so that includes, did I say includes or concludes?
You said includes.
Okay, that concludes our business item number 1. Obviously, it is 9:05. We are 5 minutes past. I believe that at this time we could entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting, and we will pick up at our continuation meeting on February 17th at 7 p.m. With the remaining agenda items.
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. All right, if there's no further discussion, we'll go through a roll call vote to adjourn.
Melissa Gary, yes.
Jeannie Milton, yes.
Jim Bell, yes.
Stephanie Winslow, yes.
Karen O'Neill, yes.
Alan Genovese Warwick, yes.
Raina Bernardston-Northfield, yes.
Robin Knipe Leiden, yes.
Michelle Jeruso, Leiden, yes.
David Young, yes.
And I think Nathan may have dropped off a bit ago. All right, Julie Burke, Northfield, yes. Okay, thank you all very much. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice
He
job.
was here at the beginning.